Hi everybody and welcome to AquaDream. Today we are going to make a very easy, simple and very budget project. Today's aquarium will be with no filter and with no CO2. As many of my nano aquariums, especially bulk aquariums, they all don't have filter and most of my aquariums don't have CO2. So in today's project we are going to use 25 centimeters cube tank. This aquarium was in my studio for a very long time. And because this aquarium was empty in my studio for a very long time, there was a white coating on the glass. And before using this tank for today's project, I had to make it crystal clear. So what I tried to use to make the glass again crystal clear is I tried the vinegar, which helps well, but not enough. And then I wanted to try the bathroom cleaner liquid, which removes this white coating in the bathroom. But again, it helped, but not enough. The glass is much better now, but it doesn't look new and it is not a crystal clear. But I want to use this tank anyway. I want to bring it to life. And as I said, today's project will be very budget. We are going to do the Iwagumi scale. I have Iwagumi in my ball aquariums. I have big, large Iwagumi aquarium with CO2. But today we're going to use a cube tank with no filter and with Iwagumi style. But before I show you today's tank, let's go through some updates of my previous projects. So do you remember this big cube tank that I recently revealed again? Look how it grows, also with no CO2. And do you remember first time I used that Sagittaria here? I can't say I'm really satisfied with this plant. It grows well, it does not require the additional CO2 system, but it's too big for this tank, so I would suggest to use Sagittaria for a bigger tank. This tank is 60 centimeters cube, but I would suggest to use it for much bigger tanks. Instead of this Sagittaria, I would use here the Tinellum, my favorite grass plant. That would look much better. But anyway, I used it and it looks pretty good anyways. And I got a bunch of neon for this aquarium. I wanted to use the same fish that was living here in this tank, but I couldn't catch them from their temporary tank. So I decided to just leave them there. They're happy there. And I wanted to just buy a new fish for this tank. So here I have these beautiful neons. And as you notice, they're very bright color. So their red and blue color is very bright, very nice. And they are actually more expensive than the regular neons, which are not so bright. I guess these neons are also come from China, same as Amber Tetra. So here in Vietnam, they usually sell two types of fish that they breed in Vietnam, and another type comes from China. I don't know how do they breed this fish in China, but all fish that comes from China are much brighter and of course more expensive here. So I'm happy with that neons. They look so nice. Look at them, so colorful, so bright. Still getting used to their new home. And I also got a bunch of shrimps for this tank because in that store they had a promotion. You can buy a combo 30 shrimps for a very affordable price, and they're excellent cleaning crews. So overall I'm very happy with this tank, how it grows. It looks very nice for the tank with no CO2. It looks very nice. Who haven't watched the build of this tank video, you can find it in my channel. Also guys, do you remember my long biotop tank? Here I wanted to show you something. Look here guys. Look, have you ever seen the fern growing in immersed form like this? Look at their leaves. Look, it's everywhere. the Mordania Kisak, of course, and look at the fern. Look how it grows in its immersed form. If you ever want to buy the fern for the immersed form, now you know that it can grow in its immersed form, not only submerged, and it grows very well. Actually, here I want to show you the example of the fish that come from China and the local fish. So this is Amber Tetra, and they are very friendly, they are very interactive, they are not shy at all. Look, they're following me all the time, they're not scared, and look at them, they're very bright, very nice color, comparing with the local Vietnamese Amber Tetra, which lives here. I don't know if you can notice with the camera, but the color of this Tetra is not as bright, and they're much more scared and they're shy fish, so they are not as interactive as the Chinese one. And this is my last project, as you remember, the high-tech aquarium with CO2 injection, and it's doing very well. The Hygrophila grows very well with CO2, and it's getting red and it's getting bushy. There is a little bit of brown algae issue, but this is normal for a new tank. It's just temporary. I really like the Vallisneria nana and the Crypticarina spiralis at the back. They together look very nice, looks very natural, and it's growing pretty fast. You can see that it's much thicker than it was at the beginning, especially the Nana Vallisneria. It's a very fast growing plant, and I also suggest this plant for all the nano tanks, for all the tanks with no filter. This plant does not require the additional CO2 injections, so you can use this plant for any types of tanks. For now, I only have the neretin snails here. You can see there are a lot of them. I have like 15 of them here, or 20. You can see they're already cleaning the tank. One of the best cleaning crews. Alright guys, and this is our cube today, 25 centimeters by 25. You can see this white coating is still on the glass. I cannot clean it up. Nothing helps to remove it, but we will keep it like that. You can see it while it's dry with no water, but actually when you fill up with water, the aquarium, you won't see that coating. So let's keep it like that. I don't want to keep this aquarium empty because nothing stays empty for a long time in my studio. I always have to bring any empty tanks to life. Oh, hi guys. Look, all the neons are watching us. Oh, they are not actually shy. They want to interact. They're probably asking me to feed them, but I will do it later. Guys, hi. Hi guys. Oh, you're not scared. Yeah. See, again, like Chinese fish is so interactive. Every fish that comes from China is not scary at all. They inject some kind of confidence when they breed them. I don't know, but they look beautiful and they're so confident. And so, as I said, today's project will be very simple with no filter. The reason why I don't use the filter for this tank. The first reason, usually I don't use filter for small tanks, for nano tanks. And I will show you some examples again. The second reason is that on this table I have only one available power socket for the light only. There is no available power socket for the filter, and I don't want to use another extender. So let's keep that tank with no filter. You could actually use the filter like a very small, which I use for my 20 centimeters cubes, but again, I use these small filters for my 20 centimeters tanks only because when I made the first one, I had that filter for a very long time and I wanted to use that. Actually, you also can use it with no filter. And you can see the example here. This is 40 centimeters nano shallow aquarium with no filter, no CO2, and look, it grows very well. It's almost 2 years old and it still looks so fine. The water is crystal clear, everything is fine, so it works. Or for example, this 30 centimeters shallow nano tank, also no filter, no CO2. Look at all of these plants. Look at the moss there. It's also almost 2 years old. Looks very nice. So cute. I told you about these 20 centimeters cubes. So these small filters, you can use it, of course. You can upgrade it. You can use it, but you also can have this size of an aquarium with no filter. And actually, I felt on this table, I don't have any more space but I actually moved this shallow like this and this one a little bit to that side. So now I have exactly the space for this tank here. And all of this 1, 2, 3 small nano tanks will be with no fuel tank. And so if Iwagumi Scape works for my ball aquariums with no filter here, or for example here, or here, this one is very old one, so why shouldn't it work for a cube 25 centimeters tank? Let's see. And I'm also going to use the Monte Carlo as a carpet plant and only Cryptocarina, 2 bushes of Cryptocarina for the background plant. That's all. That's all for the plants. Very simple. And I'm going to use 2 rocks. I'm going to show it to you now. So I'm going to use these 2 rocks. Looks so beautiful. It's a type of volcanic rock. The reason why I use these 2 is that when I ordered these rocks from another city, I ordered 4 kilograms, and I thought the seller will send me a small rocks for 4 kilograms in total, and there will be like a bag of these small rocks. But he actually sent me which weight for 4 kilograms. So I was like questioning, what should I do with these 2 rocks? What kind of hardscape can I create from just 2 rocks? And that's why I'm going to use them today for this scape, because exactly these 2 rocks would fit this aquarium. For the light, I'm going to use the same light as I use for all my ball aquariums, the light with this wooden stand here, and this is 9-watt light, should be more than enough for this size of an aquarium. You can see the brightness is enough, and I will see it at the end with the substrate on it and with the plants if it's enough, but should be enough. Because the same 9 watt I used for my 30 centimeters high-tech aquarium, and I thought it will be enough, but after filling it with substrate and water, I realized that it doesn't cover the whole surface of the aquarium, so I had to change the light. But for this size, I think it should be enough. If you want to buy the same light, you can follow the link in the description below. There is the link to my stores, and you can find this light and order to your country. And for the first layer, for the bacteria colonies, I'm going to make the same mix as I did for my previous project. I'm going to mix some sand, some fine lava rocks, some river pebbles together, and that mix will be the first layer. Then I'm going, as always, use 2 types of the substrate. One is the clay-based substrate, and the second layer will be the regular aquarium substrate. Alright guys, let's get started. I'm going to quickly stick the black background, as I always do for all my tanks, and start working on all the layers and the hardscape. Alright guys, the mix is ready for the first layer. So this time I used sand, river pebbles and fine lava rock. I didn't use the expanded clay as I did for my mix in my previous project because the tank is very small, so I'm only using the fine fractions for my mix. But it is not necessary to use the mix like this for the bacteria layer. You can also use it separately. It's just my recent experiment to use that mix because I have all of these different types of media, so I wanted to just experiment and use them as a mix. But you can use them separately. You can use fine lava rock or just river pebbles or expanded clay. I use it separately for all my tanks, and it all works well. Alright, now it is time for the nutritious substrate for the plants to grow, especially for the carpet plant, for the Monte Carlo. And many of you asking how do plants grow with no CO2. Not all the plants are requiring the high CO2 level, the additional CO2 injection. not all the plants. And so Monte Carlo does not require the high CO2 level, and in small nano tanks with no filter it also grows very well. But what you need to do is to provide all the nutrition in the substrate. I also do not use any fertilizers for all my aquariums with no CO2. Once I try to use the fertilizer, I always get algae. So with no CO2, plants are slow growing, so they only need the nutrients that are provided in the substrate. And we are going to provide all of these nutrients now. So as for all my Iwagumi aquariums with no filter, I also use some vermicast. You can buy vermicast in the flower market. It's a worm's poo used for plants. I also use the thin layer of the vermicast. I also recently experimented with the coconut fiber, with the coconut coir. You can also get it in the flower market, coconut coir. And aquariums where I used it as an additional thin layer for the substrate, these aquariums are showing a very stable ecosystem. I'm still not sure that this is the only reason for the coconut fiber, but I guess it helps with the pH of water. So we are going to add this too. As always, the clay-based substrate, when it gets wet, it becomes powder. And the regular aquarium substrate, I'm using Chinese, I think it's Chinese or Japanese brand, I don't know. I don't stick to one particular brand. I use different which are available on the market. I like this substrate because you can see it's very fine. It's like a sand, so very suitable for nano small aquariums. Guys, yes, and I completely forgot, for all my Iwagumi aquariums, I also used root tubs, or if I don't have them, I use this fertilizer. I noticed that the aquarium plants that are sold in the market, they actually use this fertilizer to keep them healthy for a long time before they get sold. So you can buy this in the flower market, the fertilizer, and it sells its controlled release fertilizer as extra nutrients, just a little bit we can add to our substrate. Alright guys, Monte Carlo is ready. I got too much Monte Carlo, so I have one more pot like this, and I think I'm not going to use that because that would be more than enough for this size. And I no idea where should I use that one because all my other tanks don't have any space, but I will figure out. And also, I wanted to use the Cryptocarina as the background. This type of Cryptocarina Venti, I wanted to use it for the background plant, but since I got a lot of Monte Carlo, I have to use it as much as possible. So I'm going to use that Cryptocarina for my deep cube tank. I have some space there. I'm going to just add this so it's not getting wasted. All right, so I'm going to fill the tank with water, 1-2 centimeters, so it will be easy to plant the Monte Carlo. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some substrate at the back to increase the level. So when I plant the Monte Carlo and you look at the aquarium from this side, so you can see the background. Maybe at that level of the substrate, so I can plant the Monte Carlo here, and it will be as high as here, I think. Or it will go with the rocks from the low level to the high level to that corner. I think I will do that. Guys, I don't know if you can see, but sometimes you buy the plant and it comes with another plant. So here is the Gydratilla tripatita. Here you can see these leaves. So hopefully it will grow together with Monte Carlo and it will be at the back, same as with one of my ball Iwagumi. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will survive and it will adapt and grow. Wow, guys, look at this. We are finished. Very simple, very easy, very budget scape. And it looks so beautiful. Look at these two rocks. They're like two siblings. And look at these two rocks. They look so nice. I can't wait to see the full carpet of the Monte Carlo. You can see that 9 baht is right enough for this size of an aquarium. The light intensity is just right, and it covers all the bottom with the light. In the first week, the Monte Carlo might pop up sometimes, some of the bushes, because there is some oxygen bubbles at the bottom and it will rise up, so it might pop up some Monte Carlo, but that's fine. I will just replant it again. And now it is an important part. So this aquarium is a low-tech with no filter, and I'm going to change water every day for the first week, 50%, to avoid ammonia spikes and to help the Monte Carlo to root and start its full growth. Till the Monte Carlo is rooting and adapting, I will help the Monte Carlo to survive and to adapt by providing fresh water every day, because ammonia spikes might kill Monte Carlo. So it is important to keep your water fresh and clean. And you have to observe your tank for the first month. You have to observe it every day, especially the first week. I already added bacteria and water conditioner, and I'm going to do it every time I change water here. You see that Monte Carlo is already bubbling. There are so many bubbles already. It will take about 3 months for Monte Carlo to grow fully and cover the whole foreground. And you can see with water, the glass doesn't look cloudy, so it actually looks clear. Not as clear as it might be, but anyway, it looks just fine. Also, in a few days, I'm going to get some neritin snails, as always. I will wait for weeks before I add shrimp into this tank, and might be a few nano fish as well, but probably that will be only a shrimp tank. And the light is automatically set it up for 7 hours here in this whole table with all my aquariums, so this tank will also be on and off together with other tanks at the same time, and the light will be on for 7 hours. That's actually it, guys. We're finished, and if you like my simple budget nano low-tech tank, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to follow me on my Instagram and TikTok page. The links will be in the description below, and you will see the development of this tank and all my other tanks. Also, don't forget to follow the link to my store where you can find all the equipment that I personally use for all my aquariums. And I'll see you in my new project, and the big project is coming soon. Stay tuned.